Okay, I hope everyone's doing well. This is going to be a very short video. I just wanted to cover this subject about Al, always in trading, and really, someone's asking about how, I'm having trouble finding words. They were kind of seemed to be questioning the trading room, and is it helpful? And I want to point a few things out. This whole, and especially this whole, and this person right here, they bring up a really good point, and that is the whole thing of better to wait. A lot of times in Al's trading room, he's always talking about, he seems very indecisive, and he seems, I understand how it can be frustrating. Pick up, why can't Al make his mind up? He doesn't seem to talk about, this whole thing's about always in, and Al talking about always in at the end of the day, but not really talking about it during the day. And it's really not completely true. He does. The reality is 40 to 60% of the time, 90% of the time, let me start over. 90% of the time, there's a 40 to 60% chance that whatever you think will happen will not happen. Therefore, you're hearing Al, when you look at Al and you think, he's so confused, he won't make up his mind, you're hearing somebody give you their opinion of confusion and trading range. When you hear Al say, yeah, well, it's probably not a great buy, or you can buy above it, but far above the moving average. Well, yeah, always in traders will buy above it. And even when Al's saying that, he's buying for scalps. The reality is, and on a side note, I'm going to make this video very short. It's late, and so please comment or reach out if you want a longer discussion on this. But I would highly advise to listen to Al in the trading room. I can confidently, I've listened to probably 4.5 years of hearing Al just about every day. So you pick the number. I don't know. I can guarantee you I've heard almost, out of those, I've probably heard 95% at least. I've probably listened to some portion of those days, if not most of those days. And I have learned a tremendous amount from Al during the day. And not only have I learned just information, but just the way he thinks, the openness he has to everything. The slides he brings up. I'll give you a great example. Classic thing he would talk about. Right here. Double top, and he'll always say in his room, well, this is a double top, bears will try to get a breakout in the neckline below, but even if we do, it never looks that easy. It never looks like what'll happen. Strong rally, he always talks about how the bulls, second leg trap. You always get a strong second leg that forms a double top to trap bulls and whatnot. So if you're looking at Al and saying, gee, he's not being descriptive in his room, he's not giving out information, he just seems all over the place, he seems confusing. Well, guess what? That's the reality of trading. It's confusing. And it's confusing because, Trader Joe can buy here, scaling lower, and get out break even. Trader Bob can, sell below this bar and make money. Or, there's so many possibilities in here. So, yes, if you listen now, he does talk about always in during the day. He does give recommendations, but you have to learn his lingo. It's taken me a very long time to kind of understand what he's going to say and how he's saying it. Al's the type of trader, when he sees these sharp sell-offs, guess what he's doing? He's buying calls. That is a form of trading the E-mini. He's just being a little more protective with it. So, I'm not saying anybody's wrong in this form. All I'm saying is, there's a great potential someone can get from listening to Al. And while it's confusing, just as this person said over here that they may listen to Al, but maybe turn Al off when they're in a trade. Well, just remember, Al's very comfortable in the 40 to 60%. He is very at peace with himself in the fact that he knows, in general, a swing trader has a 40% chance of losing. And remember, just because if you buy above here, it's a 40% trade, hypothetically. And if you really want to break it down into many different pieces and make it more complicated, it's really a 20% trade, because there's a 20% chance this bar is the low of the day. Just as typically once a week, the first, and it's really higher than 20%. I wasn't looking. 20% chance bar one's the lower high of the day. So 1 out of 5 days. Bar 3, what is it? 23%, 24%. Doesn't matter. Ideally, 40% chance this will fail. I'm sorry, 40% chance this will succeed, 60% chance it'll fail, but that's not entirely true. And that is because 40% of the time, you'll catch a big swing. 60% of the time, you'll make a little, lose a little. Or, take that the other way. 40% chance you get stopped out, and 40% chance you get a big swing. 60% of the time, you make a little, lose a little. So, really, look over here. Most traders that buy above here will not get stopped out down here. They'll buy, and they'll see this doji, and they'll get out because they know 50% of the time moves reverse, or they'll sell below here. Trader that sells here, big profit. Trader that buys here probably exits below here, and there's no place for them to re-enter, and then they end up re-entering down here. A trader that got out of shorts here probably gets short here. The trader that buys above this bar but gets out below this bar gets long above here. The trader that buys here may get out below here, may get out below here. Kind of a triangle. 1, 2, 3. So I would highly recommend. It's worth every penny listening to Al's Trading Room. And the reality is, it's hard. I said it before a few minutes ago. There's countless hours of Al's webinars. There's almost 100 hours of Al's video course, but you got to watch it. So I just I wanted to point out one thing, and Tom, I know his name's Thomas, but TDEU. He posts, this person actually posts pretty good stuff. I would say I agree probably with 95 to, you pick 99% of what this person says. And, I just wanted to comment on just one little thing about yesterday's price action. It has to do with kind of this area right here. So bar 22. But no reason for bulls to exit, and bar 24, bulls would have exited below because he thought, it might be always in short. And when you look at yesterday, and then I will, coincidentally, this day, it's always in long on bar 1, strong rally. This is not enough. Yes, it is, in a way, I do agree with what he's saying, and I understand what he's saying. It's always in short over here. However, I don't think bulls would get out below here. I really don't. It's kind of it's a skunk stop. In other words, selling out along, sure, yes, if you can sell out along here and buy back here for a small loss. Or you could sell it alongs, re-enter, make your money back. But it's really not a great trade because look where you are. First off, you've got a number of factors. Number one, you're past the 18-bar range. So, arguably, just pick. Here's the high of the 18-bar range. Here's the low. we're either going to break above or break below, and whichever one we break above, the odds favor, it'll be the high. So if we break above this high, which we did over here, this will remain the high of the day. If we break below these lows, which technically we did, this will remain that'd remain the high of the day. And I meant if we break above the highs, this be the low of the day. Now, he is right about one thing. I believe he mentioned, this is the breakout kind of starts over the day, which I completely agree. You want to treat FOMC kind of like a new day, but I wouldn't get out of longs here. If I'm already long over here, it's basically a 50% pullback. It's a breakout test of these highs. So it still could be a gap. And look what happened. It was a gap. We had a measured move just about, maybe from, this close to up here. So that was kind of it. Either way, I mean, like I said, I agree with just about everything else I said. I just wanted to give my side of that real quick. And, but all I was saying is really going back to the main point. Don't give up on Al's webinar. It's very helpful. You will learn, and you want to get a lot out of Al's webinar. Here's what you can do. But it's very tedious. Take notes on the webinar. Wait for the recording to, wait for the recording to be released, and then get a pen and paper. Use I like to use OneNote a lot. I screenshot of a lot of things Al says and kind of give my thoughts on them. Screenshot it on your computer and annotate it. So if you carefully listen to what Al says in the webinar, you'll get a lot out of it. But you have to. I would challenge you. In fact, take any day. And most webinars are about 2.5 hours to almost 3 hours of video time, some days less. I would challenge you to take a day and watch it. Give yourself 4 hours. If that's 4 hours, because that's how detailed you should be. At least 3 hours. And go through the webinar real slowly. Pause the video, rewind the video, and just hear everything. And you will be blown away at all the things he says. That's one way I gained a lot of confidence in Al, was I would restart webinars, re-listen to them, and I would begin to hear all these things he was saying that happened. So I would challenge you to do that. It's work. It's kind of grueling because you spend 3-4 hours on one day, but you learn so much. So that's my thoughts. It's all difficult. It all takes a while. It's all a lot to learn. That's all I want to share on this video. So if you have any thoughts, if you want me to cover something else, leave a comment, message me on Al's price action website. For anybody that doesn't know, I'm this person right here, BC Wolf. You can message me on that, or just comment in the YouTube. But I prefer messages on the website if they're questions, just because I have a better shot at seeing them rather than a YouTube comment. It's easy to miss it. So thanks for watching.